All right, so I went to the job fair. I got the job, and I it was the night shift. It was a night shift, so the shift started at 3 p.m. and on daylight savings 4 p.m. in the evening, and it runs all the way till 1 o'clock in the morning or 12 o'clock, depending on daylight savings, right? So with that, it was just me and my son, and I could not, like, where was my son going to be? He had not started school yet either, and I was living alone. It was just me and my baby, and like I said, there's no one physically there to help me. So I called my aunt up and had my son staying at my aunt's house. So my son was now at this point living with my aunt because I worked a night shift. I couldn't have my kid at this point. But luckily, my son started everything early. He said his first word early, so I was able to catch that. His first word was his name. He was like, Thurston. Like, everybody was like, say daddy, say mommy, say mommy, say mommy. This boy was like, hell no, I'm saying my name first. Like, it's my name. That's what I'm saying first. I'm not calling y'all. And he was like, Thurston. And when he said it, I lit up. I was like, what? And he was like, Thurston. And I was like, did you say Thurston? And he was like, Thurston. And it was amazing. I loved it. I wish I caught it on camera, but it's stuck in my mind. I hope that I don't have any form of debilitating disease that mess with my memory on that, because that is something I never want to forget. And so I got to see he took his first step and started walking and whatnot. What I did not get to do, I did not get to potty train. My aunt did that. So that was the only thing I really missed out on. He smiled early. He said his first word early. He started walking early. He stopped wetting the bed real early. I don't even know when this boy stopped wetting the bed, but he never wet the bed. um Yeah, so I could have took him out of diapers real early, but he would wet the floor. Because what he would do is he would wake up in the morning and he would hop off the bed and pee. So he would have wet the floor, but he wouldn't wet the bed. So I was grateful for that. I was super grateful for that. And so I got to experience most of the first. Well, I didn't get to experience the potty training, which is okay. It's okay. I got to experience most of his first. And so when I sent him to my aunt, and then I was working at this call center, and when my dad was like, you could do what you're doing with the property, and I got it gathered my money together. I got this guy to work on the place. So my son is staying with my aunt. So now my paycheck is split into two. My paycheck is split into sending money to my aunt and sending money to and paying this guy to do work on the property. Now, my aunt has this thing where she spoil kids, especially with food, and I didn't have it to spoil my son how you want to spoil him with food. But she kept going at it, and so I was literally in the E because I had to be sending more than half of my paycheck to my kid, and I was having the other what's left over given to this person. So I wasn't eating. I was super skinny. I was damn near malnourished. I was skinny. It was coworkers. I had two male coworker friends at the time, and sometimes they would buy me lunch, and we three would hang out, and we were the top on our team, right? We were the top salesperson on our team. So, I mean, we had a lot in common, like college educated. We had a lot of the same interests. So the conversations just went on forever, right? And nobody could get into that little circle, and everybody wanted in, but it was hard to get in because, like, you don't share the same interests. Like, we're not from the same place. Like, we're not Montegonians. Like, two of us were Kingstonians, and the other one was like from, I think, St. Elizabeth or something like that. But he spent his time abroad, like going to school abroad. So like the knowledge base, like the things we open up our mind to is more vast than the things that Montegonians open up their minds to. And I'm not being disrespectful to Montegonians. There's just a difference. Like in every parish you go, there's a difference. Because you have Montegonians that will go to other parishes and be like, oh, these people are stupid. Like that's how Kingstonians look at y'all, to be honest with you. Because the conversations is it's a mind numbing. I will tell you that. Like, you feel like you took 20 intellectual steps back to have a 3-second conversation with this person. I'm sorry, but that's how I feel. That's my experience. And if I have any good experience, if I have any intellectual conversation with people in Montego Bay, they're not originally Montegomeans. So I'm sorry if you're offended, but that's just my experience. I'm yet to find someone like that. Maybe I'm not rolling in the right places. I don't know. Don't really care at this point, actually. So yeah, so my money was being split, and I was basically not eating. I was not eating and slept most of the time, and I never told anyone. I never told anyone what I was going through or what was happening. I think at the time I was talking to my little sister about some of it, especially the money part. I hate not having money. I get so depressed and stressed out when I don't have money. Like, when I have the money that I want, when like, whoever says that money don't bring happiness, they wasn't talking about me. Because the world could be set on fire. As long as I have money, I'm good. Like, I don't care. Like, the world is burning. Oh, okay, cool. Can I still buy this? Like, I'm sorry. That's how I am. If you not like that, that's on you. This is me, and I'm not going to change me to fit you. I'm sorry. I've done that so many times, and that's the reason why I'm here making these video freaking diaries. Because if it wasn't for the fact that I'm trying to fit myself into people's mold and expectations and, like, try not to offend people or upset people, then I would not be here making these videos. But I am. So, I'm done doing that. I don't give a shit. I don't give 2 pennies. Right? I'll take 2 pennies. So, I was working real hard to start this jerk center, and it fell through. It fell through, and it fell through not because of me or not having the money or not, being able to. It fell through because my dad stopped it in the middle. And it was disheartening and it was heartbreaking because I had spent so much money, and I was hungry. I was very hungry to get this to where to try and get this place up and running. And when I say I was literally starving, I was literally starving. I was having no food. And when the moments I would eat, it was somebody else who would provide it. And they provided it. I don't know if they noticed and was like, I'm going to give it to her without her asking. I don't know if they noticed that I just wasn't eating at times, and they were like, okay, I'm buying you lunch. I don't know, but I never told them, and I never asked them for their help, but they gave it. And so that was that. That's when I started talking to one of the guys in the group. Like, he expressed interest in me, and he was pretty cool. And so I established a relationship with him. And we were pretty good, and it felt pretty intoxicating. And at this point of my life, the party time and the fun time was over. I was done with the fun time. I was looking for a relationship at this point, right? And of course, when you're looking for a relationship, you think you find it in the person that you are with, or you're hoping that you have found it in the person that you're with. And I found the relationship so intoxicating, but I then, we both left the job. He left before I did, and then I left next. It was just too much. Like, the job was overbearing and overwhelming in and of itself. Dealing with these customers, it just weighed on you. And then the business politics again, the office politics again was bullcrap, because these people are acting like they own the company and they're not even seeing a fraction of the profits, and they're acting like, I don't even know. So he left first and I was there. And then they moved over to the new building. And when they moved over to the new building, So it was just me and the other guy that was still there. And hold on. But before that, like, the friend group kind of had a little split because then I moved away from them because I started being in a relationship with one of the guys. I kind of moved away. We kind of switched seats. We weren't sitting together anymore, and I was sitting in a different section when I would come in. And so I would sit with this girl, and I would have conversations with this girl, and she was like my work friend at this point. This one female, and we had fun. We had fun because we were like trendsetters with hair extensions and whatever we do with our hair. We just clicked and we had fun together. But me and the guy, we were engaged in a relationship. Me and one of the dudes, we were engaged in a relationship. And he left the job because he just couldn't take it anymore, to which it was getting overwhelming to us both. But I stayed on a little bit longer because I had a goal in mind and I wanted to see this goal to fruition. And so I went ahead, I stayed with them, and at this point the company was moving over to a different building where everyone would be under one umbrella because it was a huge company and they dealt with like Dish Network, customer service and sales for Dish Network, AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, whatever, everything. If y'all are wondering, some of y'all customer service is straight up out of Jamaica. It's not in India. Some of it is in Jamaica. It's in these Caribbean islands, in case you're wondering. Okay? Because the labor in these countries are cheaper because the government exploits the citizens. And so, like I said, Jamaica is for corporations. So if you have a corporation and you want to make big business, Jamaica is the place to be. But if you want to be a citizen, it's not. Okay? It's not the place to be to work. It's a good place to live, but not to work. So if you can work outside of the country, like you can get a remote job outside of the country and get paid in USDs, euros, or better yet, pounds, then you will have a great life in Jamaica. But if you're in Jamaica working a Jamaican job, making Jamaican dollars, then you're royally effed. That's it, point blank, period. Okay? So I started in a relationship with this guy. Remember, these video diaries are about relationships. Even though I'm, throwing in a lot of things, it's about my relationships. And so I ended up leaving the job. I went in to the new space, walked in, saw everyone on the floor, and I was like, hell no. Gave them my resignation and turned out. Somebody was like, you're giving in your resignation? I'm like, yes, effective immediately. But that's not how you're supposed to do things. I'm like, I don't care. Like, if you're firing me, would you give me 2 weeks? Would you be like, oh, you're fired in 2 weeks? No, you would be like, you're fired today. So I resigned today. Bye. It's not going to look good on your resume. I turned to the lady and I was like, who told you that I was going to put you on my resume? Like, who told you that you were even going to get an honorable mention on my resume? No one. So shut up. Bye. And and so I left. And I was still in a relationship with this guy. At this point, I was spending a lot of my time at this guy's house before I left the job. But then I stopped spending a lot of time at his house when I left the job because now I could come home and now I could take my baby back. I wasn't going to leave my baby to stay with no dude. You crazy? You sick? You nutty in the head? No. But while I was working and my son was with my aunt, I would spend a lot of time at his place. So I would have extra clothes and stuff, and I would go over to his place rather than travel all the way home because to come to me, he lived closer to work than I did. So it was easier to go to his place, get ready from his place, go to work, So that's what we were doing for a while. He was adamant about, I realized, I don't know, maybe I have a thing for people who want to live in a different country, who wants to, I don't know if I have a tendency to be with people who are foreign minded. And take note because you're going to hear this exact conversation later on. in my video diary series. So I don't know if I just had a thing for guys or people who just don't want to be Jamaicans. They would rather be anything else but Jamaican. And it's crazy because I'm on here talking to y'all in an American accent, not in my local Creole or Jamaican accent. And I speak this way just because I want everyone to be able to understand what I'm saying, right? And most people understand the American accent. As it relates for the other accents all over the world, it's harder to understand even though they speak English. Like you hear an Indian person speaking, he's speaking English, but you can barely understand what he's saying, right? You hear an English person speaking an English. They're English. They created the language, and people across the world can barely understand them. So I lean into American English because people will understand. But even though I speak American English and I speak Jamaican Standard English and I speak patois, does not mean that I'm foreign minded or that I want to be in y'all's country to live. Like, I want to be in the US to shop. I want to be in the US to experience the different food cultures and stuff. But I don't want to live in y'all's country. Like, I want to visit y'all and experience y'all in small doses. Like, I love y'all some of the times. And I think some of y'all are real slow. But at the end of the day, I don't want to live in your country. I really don't. I love my country. It is beautiful. It's amazing. It is breathtaking. Like, just to be wake up and looking at the sea outside. There's a big, bright, beautiful sea. The sunshine, the fresh breeze just is so intoxicated that fills my lungs. Even right now, I'm getting fresh, unpolluted air. Even right now, I'm talking to y'all. I don't want to give that up. I want to live here. I want to make y'all's money, but I want to live here. I don't want to live in y'all's country. And it's not because I hate y'all country. I don't. I really love y'all country because I shop with y'all a lot. And I would love to like go and do the whole Sephora trip and all that. But I want to come back home. I want to come back to yard. You know, more and there. More in my house. More and experience my jerk chicken. And I just want to sit on the beach side and just enjoy everything. I don't want down the place, brother. Like, I just want to experience y'all in small doses. Like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month. Probably maybe 2 months. I don't think I can do 2 months. But I'll say maybe 2 months. Because I've been to y'all's country before, obviously. And I was crazy homesick to get back home. So I'm not foreign-minded. But I seem to fall for people who are. And this guy was one of those people who was very foreign-minded. So much so that he was willing to marry a complete stranger for a visa. And so there comes the end of that relationship because I don't have no visa to give you. So, and he wanted that. So, he left. He up and left. And I was heartbroken. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not as heartbroken as I am now with this previous breakup, but I was heartbroken with that one. And I was like, oh my God, like, that's crazy. So, I don't know if I got all my spots. I probably need to get in my room to see if I got all the spots. But after I cover these spots, I like to rub it out into my skin after a while. Sometimes I don't even rub it out. Sometimes I go to sleep like this and it rubs off on my pillow and stuff like that. But it still helps a lot because it's faded a lot of the dark spots. And I'm just going off memory here to cover that. Because I'm really and truly ready to start using my my kojic acid soaps, to be honest with you. But yeah, so that relationship ended because he wanted a green card and I didn't have any green cards to offer. So that and that. And I was really good to this person. I'm always good to every relationship that I am in. I treat my person like a king. I treat my person like a god, because you're with a goddess. You're with an empress, so you should feel like a god. I'll talk to y'all in the next one. I'm ending this one here, and I'll talk